huge fan of fantasy authors. My three favourite authors are David Gemmell, Robert E. Howard, and Tolkien, obviously. And over the years of role-playing, these are the books that I've sort of drawn inspiration from and I go back to and read time and time again. So imagine my surprise when I'm looking on the Shadowdark book group on Facebook that people start talking about Tom Wilson, and he's got a couple of Conan-inspired books. So why not jump over to DTRPG, have a quick look, and I had a look and I pulled out this. So this is the one that I decided to buy. Tower of the Outer God here by Throwy Games and written by Tom Wilson. It's a 44-page zine, and it is obviously it's compatible. It's for Shadowdark, so you can run it through a variety of other things. But it does say here a tribute to Robert E. Howard's Conan the Barbarian. Before I get into it, obviously, first thing I do is then read the plot. Well, so this is what I did before I bought it. So many capable scoundrels have thought about robbing the strange black tower that stands in the city of thieves. Rumour of a once-of-a-lifetime gem the size of an elephant's heart lies unguarded in the towers are enticing. However, no one brave or foolhardy enough to jump over the tower's outer garden walls has ever returned. What or who guards the tower, and what treasure lies within? And I was like, that sounds familiar. I think I've read this. So I had a quick look, and I was like, there's no God of the Outer Tower book that I've read. And then I was like, okay, the elephant on the front. It's that one, isn't it? So went straight over, had a look back through, and yeah, the Tower of the Elephant. Stop me when this sounds familiar. So he is in the city. He drinks in a tavern. It goes very wrong very, very quickly when he's drinking in this tavern. And he overhears a rogue describing a fabulous jewel known as the heart of the elephant, which is kept in a tower by an evil sorcerer named Yara. So that is what it's based on. And I think is it disappointed is the wrong thing to say, or surprised? I think Tom probably should basically put something in here to say it's very much inspired by this specific short story or book, because had I have known that, I'd have bought this more instantly. I have bought it, but I would have just, because when you sort of say, it's inspired by, it's Conan-esque type book, it's not. It actually is, because it's actually a Robert E. Howard short story converted into a role-playing zine. Absolutely amazing. And looking at it, there's also another one, The Slumbering City, as well. So that obviously is going to be on the list at some stage to get, because chances are this went quite well. Because I'm quite excited when I talk about it, as you can tell. If you are going to buy this, I did buy this out of my own funds, so please do consider using the affiliate link. I will drop that into the description of the video. It is an adventure for 3 to 4, 6th to 8th level. This is the highest level adventure I think I've read so far. It's definitely the highest one that I own. They probably both go hand in hand, because I pretty much read everything that I buy. So as ever, let's just get over and look at the cover of the book and sort of just go through the book itself. You are warned, there will be some slight spoilers. There's going to be no deliberate spoilers in here, but obviously we are going to go through an adventure book. I'm going to talk about a few of the things in here. Obviously, you've got the idea of the plot. He's got to sort of break in to go and get this gem. And we will see the maps and the layout. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to break down the adventure itself. It's quite obvious what's going on. But I will say it's very well laid out. And I like the fact it actually feels like a living tower as you get into it. He's really well written, these little rules that sort of give you an idea of where the NPCs are, and also why they're doing what they're doing. Because some of them just go, there's a D4 trolls in this room. There's no trolls in this. But that's just as an example. So here's the front cover, which is the other bit that made me think elephant. Okay, and you can kind of see, it probably looks like a tower being destroyed as the elephant is chasing Conan here. So it's very much inspired. So it's written, designed by Tom. Then we've got variety. So he's got an editor here, Joshua, and then some original art on the back cover. It does say here, so no writing and AI is used in the imageries. I'm going to start off with the contents. No hyperlinking in here. It's 44 pages. Not a biggie, but I do like my hyperlinks. But it will take you through the introduction, which we've already done. So the introduction is exactly the same as the back of the book. The background, then obviously the background thing. We talk about starts, and then Zaxia's compound. Not quite the same name, but it's in the same vein, you know. Then we've got to talk about the outer wall, the inner gardens. We've got the 7 floors of the towers, and then the catacombs that I don't remember being in the book, but I don't mind it. Background, I'm kind of going to skip over because that's quite important for the plot. So that will just kind of really spoil the end, which I don't want to do in here. But for the start, you've got some adventure hooks and some rumours, both true and false, to give to the player characters. Say, in the original book, Conan just happens to be in the City of Thieves, sat in a tavern, overhears someone else. These tend to be, so we've got 8 in here. So the bottom one technically covers it. So patrons of the local tavern talk about the riches hidden in the tower, but it's got some other ones in here about the officials hire them to go and assassinate, because depending on the players will determine, you know, that they might not be greedy or want to go and risk it all. So we've got some rumours then. So we've got a D12 of rumours to sort of throw at the players. And then we are into the compound itself. So it is surrounded by walls, as you can see. You've got the outer walls here, which is, I think they're 8-foot or 10-foot walls. And there is quite a substantial drop. Here we go, 10-foot walls. And then they just look over once they're on top of the walls. And they will see a variety of trees, bushes, and kind of make out a sort of maze way in there. And then there are a variety of guards and bodyguards within the sort of inside the gates, as well as 3 different locations, one of which here will take you to the catacombs. Conan didn't go there in the book. I haven't reread it since I was going to start this review, if that makes sense. But I don't remember, because I nearly spoiled something then, which, you know, go and find it out yourself. As you can see, there may or may not be lions inside the place, whether there's a lion's den. And getting into the tower itself, you've got a ground floor, then 7 others, but it's a beautiful layout like this. And what I really like is the time that the artist has taken, because you could make a 7-story tower really, really dull, or you can do this and make it interesting. Yes, obviously you've got doors and different rooms and stairs in there, but, you know, he's bothered to include furniture, chairs, shading, so it does look good all the way up as you go into the tower. And it, you know, clearly labels any of the secret doors that are in here and which way goes up in the tower throughout all the way in the tower. So the variety of the NPCs, the stat blocks, are set out nice and simple. There is elements where they move around as well, so they will go from door to door. There is, it does cover sort of danger levels. So some of the floors, like the 4th floor here, is extremely dangerous, and that just is sort of represents how often you're going to roll for random encounters, and it'll tell you whether they're lit or dark. And also, like I say, you've got different people moving around, as well as the so you've got this location here for the main big bad. Depending on how many days it's going will determine, and the time, where he's going to actually be. So he can not necessarily appear where you kind of expect him to be a certain place, but the players might sort of stumble across him earlier on. And say each of the floors, even though it's circular, they are laid out differently to just give a nice sort of feel to it. They're quite large, so I think these should easily be transposed onto a VTT. The downside is you don't get the maps included. Say some authors do, or creators do actually include the maps. I think that would be a nice thing to have. Say the NPCs, you can go and download this for free. And then you've got the catacombs here, which is clearly labelled up to G2, so you don't, you know, it's not a struggle to go and find it. And there's a variety of creatures sort of and treasure at the bottom. And then we got the appendix here, which deals with the conclusion, optional bonuses, and we get to the end. And let's just bring it off that, because that is sort of details of the end of the adventure. It's good. It's a good little fun adventure. Obviously, the downside is you know how I'm not sure how I'm going to fit this necessarily in to a Conan-inspired world, but I don't need to. I generally don't need to because I'm hoping that Tom's now going to write more and more of these because this is a good one. Most of it is in public domain, so big chunks of the Conan stuff. But more importantly, I think what he's done here is by taking an existing story, changing the names, changing certain things. It means he could just go and hit an awful lot of those other stories, and just sort of flesh out his whole sort of Conan-inspired Shadowdark world. So the adventure, I say, it's for something that's involved, which is it's 7-floor tower. You're going to have to navigate the gardens. The gardens are going to be tough enough actually getting in as it is with the lions that we've seen and then the other things that are in there. Getting in the tower is slightly difficult. The random movement, I really like the fact that not only does the main boss move, but a variety of other creatures will be in different things, and there's different levels to the thing, and there's different sort of danger levels to each of the floors. As it goes up, it does get harder and harder. The top couple of levels it's going to be where the surprise happens for the players, which is, well, obviously, you're going to get that sort of climactic stuff. The only downside is you might have to work in the catacombs somehow, so sort of put some sort of lead into there, because I don't think they're necessarily going to stumble across that right away. Obviously, they don't need to go into it because it's not a main driver for the plot, but it's in there. You've read it. You're kind of going to want the players to go there because it's a bit more value out of your adventure. I'd say the hardest thing, if you're not going to have the download the free pre-gens, is if you're going to just take this as a one shot and have a player, do it up to a 6th level character. But the good thing about Shadowdark is it's not going to make a huge amount of difference whether you're 1st or 6th level, because you don't have a huge amount of extra powers. It's not like 5th edition. So you can just easily run this as a one shot. From a timing point of view, reading the adventure, I think you'd probably get this done in maybe 2 or 3 sort of 3 to 4 hour sessions. I think it does seem to be that sort of quick. You might go quicker depending on players, and there's no sort of side quest here. Obviously the catacombs will take them on a little bit more, but yeah, I really like this. Really excited to see where Tom goes from here. I hope he does more. I'd actually like him to do a completely sort of standalone Conan world, but I appreciate that's considerably more work. But if you're a fan of Conan, go and grab this. It is a really, really good Conan adventure. That is the Tower of the Outer God by Tom Wilson. So it is available on DTRPG. If you only print only PDF, unfortunately, at this moment in time. If it becomes available on print on demand, I'll do some sort of update on my social medias to let everyone know. But yeah, go and grab it. If you are going to grab it, please do use my affiliate link. And if you've enjoyed this video and actually anything else you want to recommend that I pick up, please drop it down in the description below. And I'll see you on the next video. Thank you for watching.